This clip is sponsored by American Mobile. If you're a nurse interested in traveling, visit AmericanMobile.com to get started. What are some of what are patients that you like working with the best? Asking for a friend.
I was gonna say, I think somebody, not that you have to read books before you come in, but like if you want a natural labor, that you did your research.
Yeah.
Like you don't just come in and you're like, I don't want an epidural and I've never looked into any ways to breathe. Because that is frustrating because I'm like, I can't teach you that during the pain.
Yeah.
So if you have a little bit of okay, this is what I read, not that you can recall all of that, but this is at least what I know. Or I want an epidural and I know like I'm not going to be able to eat after that because some people get so mad. Like I was like, I know you're pregnant and not hungry, but you can't eat. And people will get so mad at you like I made that decision to piss you off. And you're like, no, like it's just the rules.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably, well, when I think of challenging patients in L&D, I think, we all think about what our baby's births are going to be like and like have an expectation, and then it doesn't go according to plan. And I feel like the nurse is probably right in the middle of that, like caught,
I think almost going in, this sounds crazy, but with no expectations. Because when people come in, and I hate to say this, but when they come in with a 5-page birth plan.
I was going to ask about birth plans.
We almost always joke that those people go to the OR.
Oh, no.
Like, honestly, the amount of times that I have seen that, it's like a ticket to the OR. Because people just, like I said, they come in with unrealistic expectations. Like, there are definitely things like cord clamping and skin to skin. Like, those are almost routine now. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we will totally do what you want, but to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like there's some things that just aren't realistic, and do not come in and not tolerate a cervical check and tell me you want to go natural, because that is unrealistic. Like, that you don't tolerate pain well. Just admit that, okay, I'm at least open to the idea of an epidural. But then I was like, when I do have a natural mom who comes in and she's prepared, and it's a mindset. It truly is. Like, you have to spend months telling yourself, I can do this.
Yeah.
Because when people do that, they come in there and they rock it, and it is amazing. Like, there is not a day that will go by that I will watch a mom unmedicated and not be so proud.
Aww.
Because it's crazy. You're like, I don't know if I could do that. And even with epidurals, people think it takes all the pain away.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
They're like, oh, yeah, nope. No, I'm like, no. That's not realistic either. Like, pressure is a thing. Mm-hmm. Like, you will feel your belly get tight still. It just won't be like, ouch, like there's sharp pain. Mm-hmm. So that's all. People always think, well, I can still move my feet. I'm like, some people can lift their legs, and it is great for all of us, because when you push and I have to hold your leg for 2 hours, I will love if you can lift it. But as long as your belly feels better, it's great. But not every epidural works.
Yeah.
And that's a reality too, because, everyone will be like, oh, my friends work great. She didn't feel anything. I'm like, but you can't think that's going to be your situation.
You never know.
And the pressure of a baby being down there is no joke. Like, it's like we always tell people when they're pushing, we're like, just like if you had not pooped for 2 weeks, like imagine like that feeling. I was like, and that's how and then a lot of people are like, I don't want to poop. And I was like, if you're pooping, it's exciting for us because you're using the right muscles. Yeah, right. Like it's the only time in life you'll ever hear somebody be like, yes, great, it's okay. And the nurses are really good about like not letting it be everywhere. You may not even know you did it, but it's a lot of pressure regardless of an epidural or not, and it does not feel good. So I always tell people, I was like, it's gonna get worse. And I don't lie to patients. I'm not like, oh, you're gonna get epidural and it's gonna be like great until the baby's out. Like, nope, it's gonna suck for a little bit, but think of that baby coming out as like my number one thing to patients, because when they can like envision that, I feel like they get a lot more strength. Or like get angry at the end, like get mad, because honestly, like that's how you push the best.
Yeah.
So like I have found that I'm like, okay, just get really mad. And like a mirror sometimes. Yeah. Some people are completely against it. But if you can see your baby's head, like this much of it.
I've heard of that.
That's exciting.
I've heard that's
like
motivation.
When you're like getting tired.
Yeah.
And you can see that. Or some moms want to feel like the baby's hair. They're like, oh my God, like that's my baby. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to get this baby out. So as gross as it sounds or whatever, it's like, a motivating factor for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I know. Yeah, I've heard that before. That mirrors are very, very helpful.
And you won't remember anything else you see besides your baby's head. I was like, a lot of people are like, I don't want to see that. I'm like, you're not going to even probably have the thought process to look around it. Like, you're just going to want to go, can I see the head, please, God? Because we constantly tell people, like, you're doing good, not that much longer. And they're like, after an hour, like, okay, you have told me that for like, an hour.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm like, so the biggest thing is a first-time mom, like, it's a marathon. Like, pushing is not, well, for most people. Some people are really lucky and push 3 times, and they're very lucky. But a first-time mom can push up to 3 hours, and it's normal.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's a lot of effort. So if you do get an epidural, sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people will be on their phones or they'll have visitors. And I'm like, honestly, this is the time for you to get your rest because you need every single bit of it that you can get to get that baby out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of in a boat. I think my whole mantra, like, for this whole pregnancy is just, or like in my expectations, I just want her to come out safe. Like, that's like, I'm trying to keep expectations low. I have been preparing for a natural birth, but I'm not saying, like, absolutely not to an epidural. Like, if I need it, I know that, like, there are, it can be magic.
Right.
And, like,
yeah.
So I'm just kind of, and it's like, I'm going to prepare for this mindset of, going natural, but I'm ultimately, like, I'm not going to get mad at myself or, like,
yeah, like you said, safe baby, safe mom is our number one goal. And I have to remind patients that sometimes when they get real mad or angry, I'm like, look, we are doing this for you and your baby to be safe at the end of the day. When I'm not doing this to torture you or cause you pain or anything like that. And some people get frustrated because, like I said, turning is like our number one intervention. And to be honest, it's what gets the baby down. So the more you move, the better. If you just stay laying, flat for 12 hours, that's not helping anything.
Yeah.
So people will be like, well, you've woken me up. Or we come in to move the baby monitor because we can't hear the heart rate. And I'm like, look, I do not want to be in here every 5 minutes any more than you want me to.
Yeah.
But we're doing all these things for you to have a safe baby.
Yeah, right.
And healthy baby. And so that is one thing I appreciate when patients are like, oh, it's okay. Like, I know you have to do that.
Yeah.
Because when they get mad at us, I'm like,
like,
I'm sorry, but I really can't. I have to come in here unless you want me to chart, like, patient refuse.
Refuse to hear make sure my baby's okay. I understand.
Isn't that great?
I mean, I see both. I see both camps,
And I feel like once I'm a patient one day, I probably will understand it on a whole new level. But a lot of my friends have had babies and they still think the same way. Like, they're like, okay, like, I had to go through this too. It's not always great, but you have to go through it.
Yeah, it'll give you a whole new like, way to connect with your patients too.
Yeah.
When
I have one of my coworkers has had, like, a singleton. She's had twins, 1 vaginal, 1 C-section for her twins. So she had both worlds there. She has been on, like, a magnesium drip, a labetalol drip. And so she was like, if anybody ever complains, she was like, I can truly say I have been through it all and you will make it. Like,
yeah, they will come out.
Make it.
They will get them out. Hell or high water.